You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another episode of How I Would Change. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these, and a lot of the times I've been doing different things like how I would adapt, how I would continue, things like that. With this episode, I'm going back to the original intent, which is how I would change. As the title of today's video implies, I'm going to be talking about how I would change Devilman Crybaby. Now, if you've seen my review, you know I absolutely love Devilman Crybaby, and I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. But there are a couple of things in it that did kind of rub me the wrong way. There were a lot of changes, none of them were particularly terrible. And in fact, some of them were actually carried over from the OVAs. Specifically with Jinmen. There will be some spoilers ahead, so you have been warned. But Jinmen is the turtle demon, who is one of the demons that he fights in the Devilman manga. In the manga, he has the faces of a bunch of people on it, including a young girl Akira knew named Sachiko, who Akira commonly refers to as Satchan. But in both the OVAs and Devilman Crybaby, this role is replaced by his mother, who at this point in the manga was already dead. Those kind of changes don't really bother me. They're very minor, but one thing that I did think that was a pretty bad choice to change was they left out the demon mask and the whole part about Ryo's father. They completely eliminated him from the plot, as well as the demon mask. My biggest problem, though, isn't necessarily the changes with the series itself, other than perhaps the pacing. I do think that the pacing in this series is one of its worst problems, because everything just happens so quickly because of the 10-episode constraint. Particularly the first couple episodes, the pacing is way off. Like, there's almost no build-up to Akira's transformation, and it really pisses me off, honestly. So that's the first thing I would change, is bringing over the build-up that's in the manga for Akira's transformation. Have the whole terrible inheritance thing from Ryu's father. Have the demon mask. Have the creepy atmosphere that it has towards the very beginning of the manga. Another thing I would change, this may be kind of a controversial opinion, but I fucking hate the art style in Crybaby. It looks nothing like Devilman. None of the characters look right except the demons. And to me, it's overly simplistic, and that can work for some series, but it doesn't work for Devilman. And not only that, but I fucking hate Akira's design in the first episode. He looks a little bit better after he becomes Devilman, but even then he looks kind of weird, because they got rid of his trademark sideburns, and he just looks weird. Again, it's the style. I don't like the style. It bothers me. And that's the thing I don't get. Everyone praises the ever-living fuck out of the animation and art style in that show. I hate it. It comes across as kind of lazy, I'm not gonna lie, because it's overly simplistic. So I'd make it look more like they're supposed to look, because in every other adaptation of Devilman, although there are some slight stylistic differences, every anime of Devilman has had Akira look like Akira. He looks as he should in the manga, with the exception of his outfit in the original 70s series. But he still looks like Akira despite that. He just has a different outfit. And although the design of Devilman himself, like I said, is pretty spot on in this, the design of Ammon, I do think that it still looks a bit off, because the weird thing is he's a dark blue color. The thing is Devilman is a light blue color in the original 70s series, but in everything else, he's had sort of a skin tone hue with red and black. In this, he's like completely dark blue with spots of darker blue and maybe even black. That doesn't bother me too much, because as I said, the demons actually don't look too bad in this art style. But another thing I don't like about the art style is some of the overly comical moments they do to be really exaggerated. It's not to say that other Devilman adaptations haven't had weird, over-the-top comical moments. I mean, I love the character of Alphon from the original series, who wasn't even in the manga, but I love him. But with this, they have weird things, like when Akira eats, his neck expands like a frog. Weird little things like that are out of place because they're not super common in either. And don't get me started on the weird-ass running. One thing I actually liked about Crybaby, though, the whole rally subplot, the rally race thing and the running, I actually liked the symbolism behind that. But the style of running looks ridiculous. I mean, it's become kind of a thing where people say that the Devilman running has kind of replaced Naruto running for the most ridiculous run in an anime. Another thing I would change is, I would have maybe had a second season plan. And for all I know, they might. Factor in some of the sequels. That may not be something that a lot of people like, but at least Devil Lady. I personally preferred Violence Jack, but I would love to see Violence Jack, or Devilman Lady, or Devilman vs. Hades. One of the sequels be adapted, and for all I know, they might be adapting some of the sequels. Who knows? But at the same time, I do think on its own, the ending to Devilman may sour some people on the series, because it is at its heart a tragedy, and it ends really sadly. But at the same time, with the sequels, that kind of rectifies that. Granted, all of them do have their tragic elements, but the way it ends does feel kind of abrupt. abrupt, I'm not gonna lie, even in the original manga. At the same time, that's not something that I would necessarily have to change, because this was just an adaptation of Devilman, not any of the sequels. But I would love to see a reboot of Devil Lady that's faithful to the manga, because I know the anime really wasn't, and there's some people who prefer it because of that, because it does eliminate some of the revelations in the Devil Lady manga. Devilman Crybaby is great, don't get me wrong, but there are a few things I would definitely change. One thing I would not change, though, is the soundtrack. I mean, Devilman Crybaby has the best Devilman soundtrack out of any adaptation. At the same time, it's a pretty good series as it is, so those are just my thoughts on what I would change about it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. Did you enjoy the art style that I personally didn't? I know a lot of people did. Would you make the same changes I would, or would you keep it as it is? Do you think that the pacing is fine and I'm just blowing smoke out my ass? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, you have a great day.